You're watching the CG Live podcast. Now, the content for these podcasts are a little bit different than our normal pods as we bring on members and do long-form interviews. These were actually recorded live at our events with members that were going on stage to present, so the content is killer. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Collective Genius Podcast, a podcast for real estate investors that love to grow and scale not only their businesses, but also as human beings. I am Leon Barnes. It is great to be back with you with our live Collective Genius Podcast. We are here in Dallas, Texas for a Q3 event, and I am so excited to introduce my first guest of the day, our keynote speaker. They just absolutely rocked the house. Best-selling author and just an amazing keynote speaker. Please welcome Mr. Damon West. Welcome to the pod, my friend.
Leon, I appreciate that. The second time you've introduced me today, man.
Yes.
This is like, we're on a roll, man. Let's go on the road together.
You need hype, man.
Let's go. I need a hype guy. Your introductions are great. But no, man, thanks a lot. I mean, your group today was incredible. I mean, we were out there. I mean, I had to talk for an hour and a half. Yes. And then there was Q&A afterwards. We had to shut the Q&A down. They were hungry and they were listening. And I think the coffee bean message is something that everybody can take with them and just change their entire lives.
So we do this pod live at every single event. And you might be the first keynote that we've had on. And for those that are out there watching or those that are interested in the Collective Genius, we try to bring someone in to kick off the event that has a message that will resonate with business owners, resonate with fathers, mothers, husbands, wives. This group is more than just business, as you got to see here this morning. But your particular message, the reason that we had reached out to you, number one, you came highly referred to us. But there was a lot of synergy with Change Agent, the coffee bean message. Our culture is all built on giving. The reason this group works is because you have high-level people that are willing to share what's working for them in their market, not only their business, but also maybe working for them in their personal life. So for the audience that may not have heard of you, which is hard at this point, but for the audience that haven't heard of you, tell them the coffee bean, the message, the story.
Yeah, I mean, before I get into that, I just want to tell you, Leon, I mean, I second everything you're saying. Like when I was in that room, not only am I watching these people like drawn into the story, but what I saw, like I like to watch before I go in. I kind of sit back in the back and watch. And what I saw right before I go up and the break to happen, it's like a family in there, man. Everybody's so together. I mean, these people at your event, it's the first time I've ever been to one of your events, but it's like infectious. You want to be around that because people want to be around each other. They're always it was really a neat group to be in front of. And I knew just with that energy going in, it was going to be a great room. So it really was. And they, look, the coffee bean. So here's the story of the coffee bean for those of you that never heard it before. The place we're in right now is Uptown Dallas. And Uptown Dallas plays a very big role in my story because back in 2008, I was known as the Uptown Burglar. I was a meth addict that was the head of a bunch of other meth addicts, breaking into houses all over Uptown Dallas and beyond to feed our meth habits. But the law came crashing down. They arrested me in 2008. 2009, I get sentenced to life in prison for organized crime. And it was in that little window of time that I meet the first big messenger in life. And one of the themes of this story is that the messengers come from anywhere, right? The messengers don't always look like you or come from the same background as you. So I run into this first messenger in prison, a guy named Muhammad, in county jail. In Dallas County Jail, in the summer of 2009, before I get sent to prison, Muhammad shares with me the story of the coffee bean. He said, prison's like a pot of boiling water, and you get three choices. Be like a carrot that goes in hard but becomes soft about the water. An egg that goes in soft on the inside but becomes hardened on the inside. Think about someone's heart becoming hardened. Or a coffee bean that actually changes the pot of boiling water into a pot of coffee. And to borrow your phrase a while ago, the change agent, right? You like to be change agents in the Collective Genius. He told me, he said the coffee bean is the only thing that can change the water because the power is inside the coffee bean to change the water around the coffee bean. And he said those words, the coffee bean is the change agent. If you want to come back from this prison experience as a better man, the man your parents want you to be, you have to be like that coffee bean. And the last words he ever said to me before I went to prison, he said, be a coffee bean. One of the most powerful four-word sentences I've ever heard in my life, because it was an action phrase that said, get to work, Damon, go work on yourself, become that coffee bean. But again, to weave this back into the Collective Genius today, A coffee bean is someone who's always looking for ways to transform the world around them and transform the people around them, because you're trying to change everything. You're trying to change a community around you. And that's what a coffee bean does. And that's what I did inside that prison. I transformed the entire prison. I formed a community in there. And a community is a place where we all come together and we want to help each other out. And we want to show each other, hey, this is my talent. If you need my talent, I'm good. I'm here to help you with that. And when everybody's working like that together, the entire energy of the place changes. And so that's what I did to change the prison around me. The parole board took notice of it. And in 2015, after serving 7 years of a life sentence, because that's what I got sentenced to, was a life in prison. After 7 years of a life sentence, they let me go on parole for the rest of my life. Now I'm on parole till 2073. So I got a little more time left on parole, but I'm a coffee bean. Yeah. So I'm not worried about being on parole, right?
If you're joining us right now live, we are here at the Q3 event for the Collective Genius. Both our CEO event is going on live upstairs, and our premier event, sitting next to me, is our keynote speaker that just finished, rocked the house, 200 members watching this presentation, and had a ton of questions there at the end. This is Mr. Damon West. He is a best-selling author and keynote speaker. What do you feel like? I looked at the room, and everyone, it's very rare that we have a keynote. Everyone's always good, right? But you can tell there's a level different when everyone, their heads are locked and loaded, eyeballs to the front of the room. Yeah. What do you feel like that resonates with, because you do this presentation for businesses, you do this for universities, sports teams. Yep. Why does this resonate with entrepreneurs at the level that it does?
So entrepreneurs, especially, just like everybody else, we love human beings. We love good storytellers. Storytellers have been the way human beings have always gotten lessons, morals, principles, entertainment. It all comes at the feet of good storytellers. And that's what I've become, a really good storyteller with some great stories. And we like stories with certain elements, right? We like stories that have the underdog journey, the redemption story. We love that. We love stories with a message about sports. Sports is a big thing in this country, but we really love true crime and prison stories. And so what I've got all these elements working in my favor. And over the years, I've worked really hard at my craft of being a storyteller, but I'm weaving lessons and morals and principles of a life into these stories. And people are absorbing this content because they're listening to a story. It's like watching a great movie, right? And so I know that I've got them in this room because the story starts off and this SWAT team raid where not everybody's like really sure. Like, my eyes are seeing the guy that looks like he should be a CEO, but he's telling me he was in a SWAT team raid. He was a meth addict. But what that does is it creates the attention span that you want. And they're locked in and they're listening because what they're picking up is not just a story they're listening to about something that happened in a guy's life, but they're getting the tools they need to become a better version of themselves. Because in this story is that overarching theme of if he can do it, I can do it.
For those that did not see Damon's presentation, he gave away the secret of life. And so I'd ask for you to share the secret of life so our viewers right now and our listeners here in the future can know what that is. What is the secret of life?
The secret to life is servant leadership. Servant leadership is helping other people reach their goals in life, helping to raise other people to a different station of life. Because I believe when we help other people grow, we grow too. And that was this thing I was touching on a little while ago about how I changed the entire prison around me. When I learned about servant leadership, I asked myself, how do I serve these men I'm doing time with? And the answer came to me because I had a very privileged life and I had a college degree when I went to prison. And I realized that most of the guys I'm locked up with, they didn't have an education. They didn't have an opportunity for an education. So I transferred my education to them. I taught guys how to read and write. I got them ready for the GED test. So if they ever got out of prison one day, they could be a better husband or a better father. And when I got out of prison, servant leadership was waiting on me. There were other men that helped me out. One of those men was Dabo Swinney, the first big coach in America that brought me in to speak to his team. Dabo called every coach in America after that. Another servant leader was a guy named John Gordon. John Gordon, the very famous keynote speaker and author. But servant leadership is when we're trying to help other people reach their goals in life. And I believe that when we help other people reach their goals, we reach our goals too. So it's a big thing of reciprocation.
So I have a 13-year-old son, an 8-year-old son, and you heard some questions in there today for parents. specifically talking about, your message, servant leadership. Just let's speak to that one for a second. I have let's say a 13 to 15 or 16-year-old girl or boy, and I want to get them down that path. What's an easy way for them to start with servant leadership?
Yeah, I've got a 13-year-old stepdaughter named Clara. And so Clara, she happens to, live in the same house with the coffee bean. And so we talk about this all the time. We have service work projects for Clara that she has to do. She can pick the service work project she wants to do and go on, but we support her on that. But she has to find ways to go out and serve, because she has a very good life, and we want to make sure she has a good life. We want to provide that for her, but she also gets to see that not everybody has the same opportunities she has in life. And the way we want to raise her is that we want her to want to find ways to share that with other people, like share your blessings with the world, because the world becomes a better place that way. And here's the other thing about it too, that we teach Clara is that, hey, Clara, if everybody's out there looking for ways to help other people, because I think that's really what servant leadership is I wake up every day and I'm like, how can I help someone today? And you're on the lookout for it, right? That's what we tell Clara. Be on the lookout for people that need help. This isn't like one of your service work projects on the weekend. When you're walking on the school in 8th grade in the hallway, if you see somebody needs help, help them, If you see somebody sitting by themselves, go sit with them, Coffee beans always want to be inclusive for everybody, want to help everybody. But here's the deal. We tell her too, if everybody's walking around this mindset of servant leadership and I want to help other people, that means on the tough days in life, and you're going to have tough days in life, someone's going to be looking to help you. And that's how it works.
So I wrapped your presentation by making sure that everybody left with a coffee bean in their pocket. And I think it's so important because here at the Collective Genius, one of the things that we help people with their scale typically is operations.
Yeah.
Building culture. This is where it relates back to sports a lot because, quite frankly, great cultures, a lot of that comes from, from my background, especially from sports. When someone they read your books, they listen to your message, your podcast with Ed Milet was fantastic. When they hear this message, and let's say they're an entrepreneur and they're a real estate investor and they're looking to use this as a culture builder, culture definer, is there a good way to go about that? An easy way that you would encourage them to, start the process?
Yeah, I would say so culture is a top-down thing. It has to come from the very top. Absolutely. And it has to be bought in from the bottom up. And so one of the things I've been able to do in life, Leon, is I've been able to go around to a lot of college and pro sports teams and some of the best coaches. I mean, like Dabo Swinney's, Nick Saban's, Andy Reid. These are people that I've been able to be in the same room with and work with on a lot of
culture builders.
Great culture builders. Here's what I've learned about all their cultures. It's this. To be a great team, you have to have a great head coach. That's the person that builds a culture. CEO, a good parent, whatever it is you're trying to build a culture, whether it's your house, your business, your team. Got to come from the top. Now, the only way this culture is ever going to take hold is if the players on that team, the employees, the staff, whoever it is the team members are we're talking about, if they carry that culture out in everything they do, because the head coach can't be everywhere all the time, right? Sure. When the head coach is around, on a lot of teams, everybody's on their best behavior and they're all like acting right. But it's the great teams that when the head coach isn't around, the players tell each other, hey, we don't do things like that over here. That's not how we do things. We have a higher standard here and you're not living up to the standard. I need you to pick it up. I need you to give more. That's how you have a great team. When the players take the culture of the coach and they apply it and they hold each other to a higher standard, that's the only way you're going to have a great team.
I want to get this message, help you get this message out as much as I possibly can, be a change agent on this side. So for those that are interested in bringing you in as a speaker to share this message, what's the easiest way for them to get in touch with you?
My website is the best place to catch me. It's damonwest.org, DAMONWEST.org. And man, look, I speak to every kind of group because everybody can use the coffee bean message. It's one of those incredible rare messages, like a Nike just do it. And it tells you that, hey, the power's inside you to change the world around you. And what group, what team, what organization doesn't need that message that the power's inside of us to change the world around us? It's not on the outside. It's on the inside already. It's inside of us. And I think that whenever someone gets, like you saw in this room today, they get that message and it's attached to a story like this, it's unforgettable.
I agree. Where are you headed next?
Mississippi. I got a human resource conference to talk to. Okay. I'll fly back for Mississippi tomorrow to catch. Clara's got her first game as a cheerleader in 8th grade. So I'm flying in, driving to her game, going back to the airport, hopping on a plane, going to Indianapolis, and that's just life, man. But I'm in a position in life where I get to. That's another phrase I would say everybody use to change your life. Don't look at something you have to, say you get to. I get to travel a lot, and I have the resources. I get to go and watch my stepdaughter do this, and maybe I lose a little bit of sleep along the way, but man, the memory is being created right now.
Well, I encourage you to follow him, Mr. Damon West. He's a best-selling author and an unbelievable keynote speaker. I encourage you to follow him on social. Check out his website. Fantastic message. And you did it with no slides. It
wouldn't work with slides. People would be like, that's inauthentic. He's reading something. You just go up there and you talk from the heart. And I've practiced. I didn't get here by just popping up one day speaking. The first 2 years out of prison, I practiced my presentation in front of a mirror in my parents' spare bedroom. This is how grassroots this thing was. I mean, for 2 years, I practiced a presentation in front of a mirror. And so getting out there today, I've done this hundreds of times already, just not always in front of an audience, Now it's in front of audiences every day, but I mean,
it shows.
Yeah, thanks.
It shows. I mean, there's a quote from Kobe Bryant that says, never get bored with the basics. And you can tell that the foundation was built in the basics of every day, just looking in that mirror and getting better at your craft. Well,
it was great to be able to work with y'all on the pre-call before this, because you could tell me what audience is going to be like, how I could tailor this message to best fit them. So some of those stories I talk about in there, I'm weaving in, relationship building, sitting across from people that may not want to sit across from you, but build that bridge, that helped me out a lot, man. And when companies do that, they give me the tools to make this just a little bit better,
It's a requirement for us. Because you have to know the audience in order to deliver the message at the highest level.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, I love working with companies that do that, because that makes a better product and makes it unforgettable, man. That's what we want to. It's like that Maya Angelou quote. People don't always remember what you say. They don't always remember what you do, but they always remember how you make them feel.
Absolutely.
And I want to make people feel something.
It was unforgettable. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate your time
brother.
On the stage, but also here.
Thank you.
Guys, if you would love to see presentations, keynotes like Mr. Damon West here, we encourage you to check out Collective Genius. You can do that at explorecg.com. Again, that's explorecg.com. This is one of many live CG podcasts here today. We look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks again, Mr. Damon West. We'll see you on the next live CG pod.
Thank you.
Are you ready to scale your real estate business? Visit explorecg.com, where real estate investors come to scale. Subscribe to the Collective Genius podcast and hit the bell icon to be notified when our next episode releases. And thanks for listening. This podcast is for informational purposes only. Past performance does not guarantee future results, and the opinions expressed by the hosts and participants are their own. The Collective Genius is not liable for any direct, indirect, consequential, or other damages resulting from reliance on the information shared in this podcast.